On July 20th, 2024, reports emerged of a strange humanoid creature causing panic and death. The initial sightings were sporadic, but the fear spread like wildfire. People were terrified, unsure of what they were dealing with. Witnesses described a pale, emaciated figure that became violent when seen even in photographs. The creature's gaunt appearance and unsettling demeanor only added to the terror it inspired. But what if this wasn't just another urban legend? What if the stories and sightings were based on something real, something lurking in the shadows waiting to be discovered? What if SCP-096 was real? The implications of such a creature existing in our world are both fascinating and horrifying. In this video, we're going to explore multiple scenarios of what might happen if SCP-096 actually existed in our world. We'll delve into the potential consequences, the societal impact, and the measures that might be taken to deal with such a threat. First, let's establish what we know about SCP-096. This creature, often referred to as the Shy Guy, is a humanoid entity that becomes extremely violent if anyone sees its face, even through indirect means like photographs or video footage. The Shy Guy's violent outbursts are triggered by the mere act of being seen, making it a unique and terrifying anomaly. Its ability to detect when it's been observed, regardless of distance or medium, sets it apart from any known creature. Now, I need to be clear that SCP-096 is a fictional character from the SCP Foundation Collaborative Writing Project. The SCP Foundation is a community-driven project that creates and shares stories about various anomalous entities and phenomena. But for this scenario, we're treating it as if it were real. Imagine a world where such a creature exists and the challenges that would come with it. If you're new to the channel, you should know that we often look at fictional scenarios and give our hypothetical take on them. And this is a thought experiment, a way to explore the what-ifs of our favorite stories and characters. That's all that this is. A hypothetical exploration of a world where SCP-096 is real. So what would happen if SCP-096 was real? The first major concern would be containing the creature. Its violent nature and ability to detect when it's been seen make it a formidable challenge. The first major concern would be containing the creature. Unlike other dangerous animals, SCP-096 can't simply be caged or tranquilized. Its unique abilities would require specialized containment procedures. Unlike other dangerous animals, SCP-096 can't simply be caged or tranquilized. Its ability to detect when it's been seen, even through photographs or video, would make it incredibly difficult to study or contain. Its ability to detect when it's been seen, even through photographs or video, would make it incredibly difficult to study or contain. The creature's sensitivity to observation means that any attempt to monitor it could trigger a violent response. Government agencies would likely get involved, trying to keep the creature's existence secret to prevent widespread panic. The secrecy would be paramount to avoid mass hysteria and chaos. But in today's interconnected world, how long could such a secret really be kept? With the prevalence of social media and instant communication, keeping SCP-096 under wraps would be a monumental task. One accidental photo shared on social media could trigger a catastrophic event. The viral nature of online content means that a single image could spread rapidly, leading to widespread panic and chaos. So what might happen if knowledge of SCP-096 became public? The effects could be devastating. People would be afraid to look at any unfamiliar images for fear of accidentally seeing SCP-096. Well, the effects could be devastating. People would be afraid to look at any unfamiliar images for fear of accidentally seeing SCP-096. The fear of the unknown would permeate every aspect of daily life. People would be afraid to look at any unfamiliar images for fear of accidentally seeing SCP-096. The fear of the unknown would permeate every aspect of daily life. Social interactions would be strained, and trust in visual media would erode. Social media and image-sharing platforms might shut down or implement strict censorship. The risk of accidental exposure would force companies to take drastic measures to protect their users. The tourism industry could collapse as people become too afraid to travel, worried about accidentally encountering the creature. Popular destinations would become ghost towns, and the global economy would suffer. But what about the scientific community? Researchers would be fascinated by SCP-096's abilities, but studying it would be incredibly dangerous. The potential for discovery would be tempered by the risk of triggering a violent response. Researchers would be fascinated by SCP-096's abilities, but studying it would be incredibly dangerous. The potential for discovery would be tempered by the risk of triggering a violent response. Ethical considerations would also come into play, as the safety of researchers and the public would be paramount. Any attempts to capture or contain it would likely result in numerous casualties. The creature's violent nature and sensitivity to observation would make any interaction a high-stakes endeavor. Now let's consider some other scenarios. What if multiple instances of SCP-096 existed? The threat level would increase exponentially, and the challenges of containment and secrecy would be magnified. What if multiple instances of SCP-096 existed? This would dramatically increase the threat level. The presence of multiple creatures would make accidental sightings more likely and containment efforts more complex. This would dramatically increase the threat level. With more creatures out there, the chances of accidental sightings would skyrocket. The fear and paranoia would spread even faster, and the societal impact would be even more profound. With more creatures out there, the chances of accidental sightings would skyrocket. Cities might implement blackout protocols, limiting outdoor activity to reduce the risk of encounters. The fear of the unknown would drive people indoors, and the world would become a darker, more isolated place. Cities might implement blackout protocols, limiting outdoor activity to reduce the risk of encounters. The fear of the unknown would drive people indoors, and the world would become a darker, more isolated place. The psychological toll of living in constant fear would be immense. But what if someone deliberately used SCP-096 as a weapon? The implications are terrifying. A single photo could potentially destroy entire communities. The potential for misuse by malicious actors would add another layer of complexity to the situation. A single photo could potentially destroy entire communities. The potential for misuse by malicious actors would add another layer of complexity to the situation. Governments and security agencies would have to develop new strategies to prevent such scenarios. Governments might be forced to implement strict control over all visual media, leading to unprecedented censorship and loss of privacy. The balance between security and freedom would be a contentious issue, and the societal impact would be profound. On the other hand, could there be any potential benefits to SCP-096's existence? Some might argue that it could unite humanity against a common threat. The shared fear and need for survival could foster cooperation and solidarity. Some might argue that it could unite humanity against a common threat. The shared fear and need for survival could foster cooperation and solidarity. Communities might come together to support one another and develop strategies to stay safe. But, given the nature of the creature, cooperation would be incredibly challenging. The constant fear and paranoia would strain relationships and make trust difficult to maintain. The psychological impact of living in fear would be a significant barrier to unity. It's safe to say that if SCP-096 were real, it would fundamentally change how we live our lives. The constant fear of accidentally seeing its face would create a world of paranoia and isolation. The way we interact with visual media, travel, and even socialize would be forever altered. The constant fear of accidentally seeing its face would create a world of paranoia and isolation. The way we interact with visual media, travel, and even socialize would be forever altered. The psychological toll of living in such a world would be immense, and the long-term effects on society would be profound. This is not a fun hypothetical scenario. The existence of SCP-096 would bring about a world filled with fear, uncertainty, and danger. The impact on our daily lives, our mental health, and our society as a whole would be significant. Regardless of where you stand, it would be a scary time for people around the world. The fear of the unknown and the constant threat of danger would create a global atmosphere of anxiety and tension. The way we live, work, and interact with one another would be forever changed. Let's just hope that SCP-096 remains firmly in the realm of fiction. The thought of such a creature existing in our world is a chilling one, and the potential consequences are too dire to contemplate. I know I don't want to live in a world where looking at the wrong image could lead to certain death. The fear and uncertainty that would come with such a reality are too much to bear. But that sounds like a story for another What If. Until then, let's keep our imaginations alive and our fears at bay. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.